Loading. All right. I'm trying to determine whether or not we are actually on live before we get started. I think we are. I think we are. All right. Good morning, everyone. Actually, it's afternoon. Hi, Elisiana. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. I just want to thank you guys for being here with us today. I'm so excited about today. Let me start my little music in the background. Very, very excited about you guys being here today. As you know, today is I Am Enough Day for our Bloom and Flourish groups. And many of you, some of you are new friends and new faces, excited to meet you today. And before I give you an opportunity to introduce yourselves, I just wanted to say thank you and just sort of say, why this event is so important. Today is I Am Enough Day for our Bloom and Flourish programs. And just think about the time for those of you who are in college or out of college already, the times that you wish you had known a little bit more about self-care, about taking care of yourself emotionally and socially and physically. Well, that's what today is all about. So I'm really excited to have you guys here to talk to the girls. Jayla, raise your hand, Jayla. Jayla Ingram is going to lead the conversation today. I'm going to be in the background, checking the chat and doing some other things. So by all means, please be yourself, encourage these young ladies and let them know what's going on. And Jayla, I will turn it over to you.
Alrighty, so welcome everybody to the Bloom Flourish Self-Care Day, the Self-Care Social. We just wanted to get on and talk with you guys about self-care. We know everything in the world that's going on right now, so it's important that you young ladies know what self-care is and how important it is. So are we still doing the polling questions?
I think we should.
Okay.
What do you guys think? All right, let's launch the poll and see what happens. Can you guys all see the poll?
Yes.
So what I just thought about is our folks on Facebook might not be able to see it, so I'm going to read some of them, and you guys can put your answers in the chat. Which is better, pizza or tacos? Which is better, ice cream or froyo? Which is better, cats or dogs? Which is better, Netflix or Hulu? This is a hard one. Which is better, Nike or Adidas? Which is better, Beyonce or Taylor Swift? Which is better, Instagram or TikTok? Now this one's hard for me. Which is better, sleeping or eating? And this gets to the meat of our conversation today. Which is easier, taking care of yourself or taking care of everyone else? Awesome. And last but not least, who is responsible for taking care of you? And you only have two answer choices, me and me. So let's see what you guys said. It looks like 75% of you like pizza better than tacos. I'm with that. 88% like ice cream better than yogurt. That makes sense. Which is better? 88% like dogs. We don't have cat people. 63% said Netflix is definitely better than Hulu. 75% like Nike better than Adidas. Oh my goodness. Unanimously, 100% said Beyonce is better than Taylor Swift. And 63% like TikTok better than Instagram. 63% like eating better than sleeping. I know, guys, we don't sleep enough. We don't get enough sleep. And then it's 50-50, which is easier, taking care of myself or taking care of everyone else. And then 100%, because there was only one choice, was who's responsible for taking care of me, and that's me. All right, Jayla, I'm going to share my screen so you can get started, okay? Okay. Go ahead, though. You can keep talking. I'll get it together.
So we're going to do some introductions. I'll introduce myself first. My name is Jayla Ingram. I went to Woodside High School. I recently just graduated from George Mason University with my bachelor's degree in psychology. I am currently in transition right now, and we're just going to let somebody else introduce themselves. Let's start with Jada, if Jada's in here.
Jada's not in yet.
Okay. So let's do Sella. If I said that right, don't get mad. I don't know. Sella can
My
go.
name's Zayla Holston, and I'm an 8th grader at Doja Middle School.
Alrighty, and then we can go to Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah, and I'm a sophomore at Menchville.
Alrighty, then we can go to Anya.
Hi, I'm Anya, and I'm a senior at Warwick.
Alrighty, and then we can go to Aliciana.
Hi, I'm Aliciana, and I'm a junior at Achievable Dream.
Okay, Morea.
Hi guys, my name is Raya. I am a sophomore at Howard University and I went to Woodside High School.
Alrighty, then we can go to Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma and I'm a sophomore at Christopher Newport.
And then Jordan.
Hi, I'm Jordan, studying communication and leadership at Christopher Newport University.
And now Rakia, last but not least.
Hey everybody, I'm Rakia. I graduated from Warwick High School. Also graduated from VCU with my Bachelor's of Arts in African American Studies, concentrating in history and politics. And I'm currently in grad school at American University studying educational policy and leadership.
All right, and if anyone, so the topic of today is self-care. So if any one of the panelists want to touch on the question of why you wanted to be a part of the self-care social, it can go in any order, whoever wants to answer first. But let's answer the question for the girls, why you wanted to be a part of the self-care social today.
I can go ahead and go first. I really wanted to be a part of this self-care social because I think during a time where everything is kind of up in the air and no one really knows what's going on, taking the time to prioritize your own health is really, really important, whether it be emotional, social, or physical.
I wanted to be a part of the self-care social today because I really want to share with you all just some things that I wish I knew when I was in middle school and high school. And I'm also interested in hearing from other young ladies what you all do for self-care so that I can get some tips for myself.
I wanted to be a part of today's social because over quarantine, I've been learning that self-care is really important. And I want to be able to share the things that I found out about self-care with other people, but also make sure that everybody knows what self-care is and things that they can do that count as self-care.
I wanted to be here today because I used to think it wasn't okay to have times of self-care and no one really encouraged me to do it. So I want to encourage other women that it is okay and that you really should follow or do some sort of self-care.
I wanted to be a part of this because, like everybody else said, I feel like it's important to know about self-care, especially at a time like this.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be because if we're not taking care of ourselves, then how can we help others with their things if we don't have it together ourselves?
Alrighty, I'm assuming that is everyone. So we're going to start the meeting. We start every meeting with reciting the Bloom and Flourish Creed. So if everybody wants to read with me, it is shared on the screen now. So we can start. I am enough.
I am enough.
I will only surround myself with people who make me better.
I will only surround myself with people who make me better.
I have a purpose and a reason for being.
I have a purpose and reason for being.
I will be prepared for every opportunity.
I will be prepared for every opportunity.
I will be the obvious choice.
I will be the obvious choice.
I will take care of myself and others emotionally, socially, and physically.
I will take care of myself and others emotionally, socially, and physically.
I will change the world.
I will change the world.
I am always becoming.
I am always becoming.
All right, so now we're going to ask the question, what is self-care to our panelists? So if you want to take yourselves off of mute and answer the question. Okay, I'll answer. So for me, self-care is, I believe it's the essence of just taking the time to take care of yourself and unwind for the day, giving yourself the attention emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, taking the time to really unwind and understand and try to make yourself better. I think it's important that we do that, but that is my definition of it. If anybody else wants to give their definition.
You took the words right out of my mouth, kind of. I was going to say, for me, self-care is taking the time out of my day to make sure that I'm giving myself the love and attention that I deserve.
And yeah, you ladies touched it. You hit the nail on the head. If I have anything to add, I'd say I think it's also about just learning more about yourself and learning what your needs are. I believe that before you can love others and before you can teach others how to love you, you first have to love yourself and first have to know what it is that you need to be loved. And so I think a part of self-care also comes with just learning about yourself and what you need.
Kind of off of that, I feel like we always are asking other people, like, how are you? What's going on? But with self-care, you really need to check in with yourself and see what you need more of.
Good stuff.
All righty. So I have a actual definition that I found online that I'm going to share with you girls. Give me 1 second. So self-care is in essence, is the mindful taking of time to pay attention to you, not in a narcissistic way, but in a way that ensures that you are being cared for by you. So it's basically setting aside time to unwind. It's not narcissistic to say, hey, I need time to take care of myself instead of always taking care of others. I believe one of you said it. We always ask people, how are you? And we never take the time to ask ourselves how we are. And it's weird to say, I'm going to ask myself, how are you? But it's important that we do that because we're constantly in this place of giving. I think it was 50-50 with it's easier to take care of everyone else, but it should be easier to take care of yourself than just saying it's easier to take care of everyone else. So we have, I believe you just shared the screen, Miss Bridget.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying though, but I can go back to it.
Fine.
Yeah.
So the next question we're going to ask is, why is self-care important?
I think that self-care is important because often when we get really busy and when we get really invested in other things that are bigger than ourselves, we forget the importance that focusing on our individual health and well-being is. So taking that extra moment out of your day to really check in on yourself, like you were saying, ask yourself how you are doing. That can make a difference between having a good day the next day or having a stressful day the next day, because you're kind of in check of yourself and you know what you need as opposed to what everyone else around you needs.
I think self-care is important because like if you like if you're not okay, then it's hard to like make sure that other people are okay.
Yeah, I feel like self care is important because every day we always have something back to back to back. So you're never really like just taking a moment to think, oh, I need a break. I just need to relax, do nothing, just figure out what is best for me at that particular moment.
I think self-care is extremely important because when we are going, we can experience burnout. And then it's not only about caring about yourself, but it can also have physical impacts and affect your health. So it's really important to take those moments of like relief and just breathe. It could be literally just breathing that can help calm you down.
I think going off of what Jordan said, it can be really scary to take that moment to breathe, but having the confidence and having the power in yourself to do so can be the first step in really accomplishing the self-care that you need as an individual.
It's good stuff. I'm learning from you guys. I have a question too, and I know Jay wasn't anticipating this. I mean, what happens when you don't take care of yourself? What happens? Because I kind of heard you allude to that, but what happens when you don't practice good self-care?
I think Jordan said this, but with the word burnout, you burn out, and you can. Some people can go to a really unhealthy space mentally, and sometimes physically. I know for me, when I burn out, I lose energy, and I think Selah said this as well, that you become so unwell that you can't be there for other people. And for me, when I burn out, it's hard for me to show up and do the things that, I'm committed to doing, or the things that I'm supposed to do. So that can be something that happens.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else want to respond to the question?
I mean, Rakia kind of hit it on the head. I was just gonna say, like, for me personally, when I burn out, I get very like I kind of like she said, like I don't want to do the things that I normally love doing. And when I get burned out, then I'm always tired, and I get irritated. I feel like I don't have enough energy to do anything. I'm literally burned out. And that's kind of when I know that I really have to sit down. And sometimes that's when I decide I have to take 2 whole days of self-care. And I'll go and I'll paint my own nails, or I'll draw a picture, or I'll write something down. Because that's how I can tell that I've been using too much energy focusing on everybody else and not focusing enough on myself.
I think for me personally, I'm not anything science related, so I don't know the accuracy of this, but I know when I get stressed, I actually get sick. So when I put too much on my plate, I get overwhelmed, and it like causes me to get almost like cold-like symptoms or something like that, and then it affects my ability to then do more because I have to take that extra time to recover.
I don't know, some girls probably watching, thinking sometimes they just don't even feel like getting out of bed. I just don't even feel like dealing today with whatever I have to deal with. And if you don't take very good care of yourself, if you don't pay attention to your own feelings, that can sometimes happen to all of us.
And, it reminds me of, there's different ways that you can care for yourself too, right? There's this idea of daily self-care, the things that you do on a daily basis. There's also routine maintenance. Might be getting your nails done, or going on a walk once a week. I think of it like our iPhones, right? If you don't charge it, it loses energy. You have to charge it every day. There's something that you need to do every day to keep this thing going. That some of you might get an alert, right, that says that your app needs an update, or there's a new update on the iPhone. That's kind of that routine maintenance, the things that you do every once in a while just to check in with yourself and make sure that you're good to go. And then we all have rough patches where things happen in life, just like when your phone breaks, right, and you need to go get that extra care and attention. And so there's also different levels to self-care as well.
I know I personally experienced what Miss Bridget just asked, what happens when you don't take care of yourself. I personally experienced burnout, and I will say it's not fun. Especially I experienced it during the pandemic when it first hit. I was in my senior year of college. I was working because I had to pay rent, pay my car note. I had classes on top of that. And then the pandemic hit, and then it was like graduation is canceled. There's no more classes. Everything's completely like wiped out. And I know I was going because I still had to work. Work was going crazy. And then one day I just sat in the car and I literally was like screaming and crying, not understanding what was going on. The next day I just laid in bed all day. And it took me to take the time for myself to say, what is going on with you? Sat in a bubble bath, put a face mask on, just had time with myself, played some music, and I just noticed that I wasn't taking care of myself. And I think a lot of people notice that you just get down in the dumps and you don't want to do anything. So I think it's a good idea to know when I don't think anybody knows when they're going to hit that place, because you don't pay, if you're not paying attention to yourself, you're not going to know until you're there. So I think it's a good idea to know the different types of self-care. So the next question we're going to ask is, do any of you guys have a self-care routine for when you are in that space of that negative space in life? So if you guys want to answer that question, but we do have a poll right now, and it is asking, what self-care habits do you need to improve? So the people watching can answer the question, and you have multiple choices that you can hit to see what self-care habits do you have. And then the panelists will answer that question once we get the poll results back.
And I'll read the choices out loud so the folks who are watching live can know as well. So what self-care habits do you need to improve? And you can write down as many answers as you'd like. Getting more sleep, eating healthier, unplugging from technology and social media, getting help with my feelings, personal care, that's hair, nails, etc., exercise. Here's a big one: separating myself from negativity, keeping my personal space clean and organized. Just want to give it a few more seconds because I do see people voting. I want to give them all a chance to answer. Okay, 2 more seconds and I'll share. Okay, Jayla, can you see the results?
Yes.
Okay, so you can review them.
Okay, so the first one, getting more sleep, we had 75% of you said getting more sleep is the best way you use your self-care habits. It's the one that,
well, that's something you need to improve.
yes, something you need to improve. So getting more sleep was the highest one that you guys said that you needed to improve. Eating healthier was the next one. Unplugging from technology, less screen time or social media was 56%. Getting help with your feelings was 69%. Personal care, 50%. Exercise, 69%. Separating myself from negativity was 69%. And then keeping my personal space clean and organized was 38%.
Cool. Thank you.
So if any of our panelists want to answer the question, do you guys have a self-care routine?
I journal. I do try and journal sometimes, or sometimes read, but I do a lot of schoolwork, so sometimes it's hard to do that. And also, I do try and like space myself out from people, not because they're like negative people, just because I need that like minute to breathe.
And add, when did you start it? So when did you start your self-care routine? So what is it and when did you start it?
I think I started journaling when I started going to Young Life. So my freshman year, so last year.
Look, Rakia's smiling. She's a big Young Life fan.
Oh, I love Young Life.
For me, I don't necessarily have like the regular self-care kind of routine that a lot of people would have. Um, Dogs bring me a lot of joy. So my self-care routine is actually just kind of like unwinding and hanging out with like my pets and stuff, and that just brings me joy. So that's kind of like my self-care routine. I feel like I'm the most happiest then, so that helps me a lot.
Cool.
I started working on. Oh, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. I started working on my own kind of self-care routine at the beginning of this year. So I had my first year of college. I was kind of stressed out a lot, and then I started to develop a routine this year. And what I do is when I'm starting to feel stressed, I take a break from whatever's stressing me out, and I organize my entire room, and I'll clean down all of the surfaces. And then once I'm finished with that, I'll write down on a little note card an affirmation for myself that can kind of help me hold on to what's going to keep me stable throughout whatever's trying to stress me out. So I have a couple pinned up right in front of me right now that kind of apply to different situations that I've faced throughout the year.
I just want to chime in because you just, Emma, that's my thing, that positive affirmation. You should say something positive to yourself every single day, because sometimes the meanest girl you have is the one that lives up here in your head, and you have to talk her down every single day. And another thing is like never to complete a negative statement about yourself, you know, and just always keep that positive out in front. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Go right ahead. Carry on.
Earlier Rakia mentioned that like there's kind of different forms of self-care, and one thing she said was like maintenance. So for me, my form of self-care is every 2 or 3 weeks I go and I always get my nails done. They're done right now. That's like my for sure guaranteed form is every 2 or 3 weeks I'll go after I get paid and I get my nails done. And then if I ever, let's say I had a really stressful couple of days at work, or maybe it was just a really hard week and I just got my nails done or it's not time yet, then I'll sit at home and I'll like put in my earbuds or connect my phone to my speaker and blast music, or I'll go sit in my car and blast music. Or I'm a very creative person. So if I'm not listening to music, then I'll pull out the paint supplies and I'll start painting or I'll start writing. That's kind of my self-care spiel or my self-care routine that I do.
I also love music as a form of self-care. I feel like it can either like soothe you or like be an expression of your emotion depending on the type of music. But also something I love to do, I really got into it last year, but I've been going to the gym almost every single day. Actually, Emma's my gym buddy. And so we go there, but we also motivate each other. And again, with the music, we like to sync our AirPods so we can like listen to the same music and really get hype with each other and kind of just take that hour of time for ourselves, but it's also benefiting our health and our mental state.
I think that's also kind of another form of self-care, like having a hype person to kind of keep you in check and be, if you ever feel down on yourself, they can say, well, you see everything you've been doing over the past few weeks, you should be proud of yourself. And then you can be the same outlet for them.
Love it.
Yeah. Before I share like what I actually do for self-care, I think it's important to note that it takes time to really know what's best for you. It takes time to develop a steady regimen. And so like be okay with that. Like be okay with it take like the self-care routine that I've developed has come like over the past 6 years. This wasn't something that I decided yesterday I was going to do and started doing today. So I think that's the first thing that's important to know. And then also know that it changes in different seasons of your life. So what works for you now might be great for the next year or so, but in another 2 years, you might find that you like something different as you grow and as you mature. And so I have a daily self-care routine right now, and that looks like really waking up in the morning and praying and meditating and just being still before I start my day. I just like to take 10 or 15 minutes just to be still and do like some mindfulness meditation. I'll also throughout the day, step away from the computer, especially now that, you know, everything is virtual. I'll give my eyes a rest and I'll go for a walk, get some fresh air, or I'll read a book. or I might take a nap. I've been more gracious with myself, with, being okay with taking maybe 20 or 30 minutes just to rest my eyes, or I'll exercise. And then kind of that routine maintenance, things that I do maybe once a week or every few weeks, is I'm an introverted person. And so being around a lot of people doesn't always keep me as energized, but I also have learned that if I'm away from people too long, that I also kind of fall into an unhealthy space. So I try to make sure that I am surrounded with communities, like friends, members of my church, or, extracurricular activities are really helpful. Hair and nails, as someone else shared. I like planting and writing, right? And then when things get really tough, in, maybe once or twice a year, we all go through some tough things. I might take some time just to talk with someone, maybe a counselor or a trusted adult, just to share with them some of the things that I'm going through, or maybe travel, go somewhere else and change my environment. So again, that kind of shows the different levels of what self-care can look like for some people.
For me,
Oh, sorry.
you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Whoever wants
For
to
me-
go first.
For me, self-care is definitely sleeping. Definitely. Um, right now I'm slacking, but usually I would go and get my nails done every 2 weeks. Um, I listen to music every day. I try to do a little 10-minute workout every day. I've been doing good with that, but just little things like I like to paint, so I do things like that for self care.
Thanks.
That I like to do is dance, because like I feel like it helps me express myself without like actually using words. And I've been dancing since I was 4. So
And she's pretty good at it. But I know you guys, we want to tell the audience that you can ask questions. You guys have a question. I know we have at the end some time for questions, but because this question is relevant for what you're talking about now, I want to just get it in. So one of the audience members has asked, I know we're not asking questions, but what are some tips about keeping your space organized? So I can't remember who talked about it. I think it was Emma. I know some
Yeah.
people think a cluttered space is like indicative of a cluttered mind. Like I can't think if there's so much going on. So this person's asking, what are some tips for keeping your space organized?
Well, I actually struggled for a while with keeping my space organized. My room was always messy because, like you were saying, my head was messy, my brain was messy. It definitely takes basically, you have like that little time. Let's say you have 5 minutes in between when you have one of your classes and you have your break for lunch. Just looking at your space and saying, how can I set myself up for success when I next have to do something productive? So it's a lot of holding yourself accountable, at least for me, because everyone organizes differently. But at least in my experience, it's just making sure you take those extra 5 minutes to make everything a little bit cleaner, so you don't have to have at the end of the week that 2 hour like deep clean session in your room before you go into the weekend. So just taking little increments of time throughout the week as opposed to a giant chunk at the end.
That's good. Thank you.
Also, I definitely like to stay organized. I use a planner. Like I was really bad about like organization for the longest time.
Anya, hold up your planner.
Mine's right here.
Go ahead,
Yep.
Leah.
I just started using like an actual like one you write in, and I think that's definitely a lot better than just like using your phone to like actually be able to write it down.
Awesome.
One thing to, oh, Jordan, go ahead.
Just like a little thing about staying organized. I think one thing that's super simple that you can do every day is start by making your bed. There's actually like a book called Make Your Bed or something, and all the benefits, like if you don't accomplish anything during the day, at least you made your bed. And so I feel like when my bed is made, it just makes the room look cleaner. And then additionally, just before you go to sleep, pick up a few things. That way, when you wake up, it's clean and organized and you can feel calmer starting your day.
Jordan, yes, 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 yes. Are you guys getting the feedback echo? Okay, good. Yes, that making your bed, let me tell you, that makes all the difference in your day. I think I started, well, growing up, I would make my bed, but I missed a couple of days, right? But I want to say, like, maybe my sophomore year of college, I picked up some excerpts from that book, Make Your Bed, and I saw to it that if I didn't do anything else in the morning, or if I didn't do anything else in my day, I put my mind to making sure that before I left, I made my bed. Like, I made sure that I make my bed. It makes such a huge difference throughout your day, and it really helped me develop the discipline of being consistent in my habits and committing to something and saying that I'm going to do it and do it. That helped me. I don't know about anyone else, but I struggled with my planner. I'm great with it now, but for a very long time, I struggled with keeping up with my planner. But the idea, like training my mind to say, I'm going to do something, and then actually doing it and doing it every day, that tiny task of making my bed every day helped me develop, the habit of being consistent with my planner. And then that helped me develop other consistent habits. So, yes, thank you so much for sharing that, Jordan.
I think one thing that you were saying about like holding yourself accountable, what I've done in the past when I have to start like picking up a new habit is I kind of establish how is this going to impact my future. Like, for example, recently I made sure that I floss every day. And my end goal is I can go to the dentist, and when they ask me, do you floss every day? I don't have to lie, and I can say, yes, I do floss every day. So it's like a little victory kind of at the end of your journey to accomplish something.
For me, I struggled with organization. When I was at home, my mom is a very organized person. So before I left for college, I was very organized at home as far as making my bed and keeping everything clean. And then when I went to college, I kind of, that freedom of like not having someone surrounding you. So I always had a planner. But like Rakia said, I was never good at with my planner until maybe like my senior year of college. It took me a while to actually get into the habit of doing it. It's all about accountability. So I would literally wake up when I went to school like late, not make my bed. My friend actually sent me the book Make Your Bed, and she said it goes a long way. So maybe like my sophomore year of college, I started making my bed no matter when I had class, when I got back from class, because I loved between class naps. So I always made my bed, and it made a world of difference. It got me on the track of keeping organized and staying organized, especially with the planner, because getting a planner, it takes a lot of work. It's a lot of organization. You have to be really detailed with it. It takes time. You're not gonna jump right into a planner and be like, I got this. Cause I know I still sometimes forget to go in my planner. Oh yeah, I did that. Mark it off, or write in the planner when I have something to do. So it's gonna take time for you to get into that habit of being fully organized. But I think making your bed, putting your clothes away, and taking the time just to get organized in your space first is always a good idea, because it gives you that thing of like, okay, my room is clean, it's spacious, it doesn't look messy. So it clears your mind a little bit from all of the other things that is going on in your head. So for me, that was a big thing for me.
I'm going to share the screen with the ideas that you guys had about self-care, some activities or some strategies for self-care. And I think that you guys talked about all of these. You talked about journaling, you talked about sleeping. Anyone do arts and crafts? Anyone paint? Someone said that they painted. We talked about hygiene, pampering. We talked about music, eating and healthy exercise. How hard is it to unplug from social media?
So hard.
So hard.
It's so hard. I think for me, it became really important during the pandemic to start unplugging from social media and everything that was going on in the world, because I would get on social media, and social media was kind of traumatizing to me with everything that was going on with the Black Lives Matter movement and the COVID-19 pandemic. Like, it was just so much going on. So for me, it was like, okay, you really have to unplug and detach from this, because it's getting to where you're becoming emotionally drained. And I literally got on social media and like cried at what was on social media. And that was the moment I knew, you know what, I had to take the time, step back and unplug because I'm emotionally and mentally drained from this. It's exhausting. And once I started with 30 minutes and then I went to an hour. So it just, now it's like, I'm not on social media all day. Like Instagram is definitely, and Twitter, it's definitely a hard thing to get off of. But I learned that when I got off of and when I took the time to unplug, I got other things accomplished. I was getting job applications done. I was actually getting what I needed to do done for the day when I took the time to unplug from social media and not watching to see what was going on every hour on the hour, every 30 minutes. So I think it's a really important, and it's not easy. I can tell you, like, it's not easy. I'm in college and it's not easy. So I know for high school and middle schoolers, it's not going to be easy to unplug for something that everybody is literally on all day, but it makes a world of difference. If you just start off with small, like, I'm going to not be on social media for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, just start off small and then you can get there. It's going to take a while though. I can truly say it'll take a while.
And Jayla, I think go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead.
I would say, Jayla, you said something that was key, is that, it's hard. It is hard, trust me. But you said it's hard when everyone is on it all day, every day. And that's the thing, right? Is that everyone is on it all day, every day. It'll be there, right? It will be there when you get back. Yeah, your timeline will look the same. I promise you. Well, if it's within 24 hours, right, that you're taking a break. But those same TikToks, those same your Instagram stories, the people who you check on the daily basis, the posts will be there when you get back. So it's not easy, but it definitely is a part of something that can contribute to your mental self-care, and it definitely is something healthy to do. So even if it's just 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, a week, or a few weeks, I encourage everyone to try social media, taking a break from social media.
A cleanse.
For me, taking a break from social media actually wasn't that hard. But when I decided to start taking breaks from social media, it was also when I decided to kind of up my level of self-care. And that's when I realized that in order to be the best me that I can be, I need to surround myself with people who are good and remove negativity from my life. So for me, part of that removing negativity was spending less time on social media. And because I was removing negativity to better myself, I didn't find it that hard. Plus, I'm also not a big social media to begin with. So that's probably a big reason as to why I wasn't really that troubled with having to remove myself from social media. But it also definitely did help when I realized that I was doing it to remove the negativity from my life and to help myself become a better version of me.
Layla, you've been quiet. Did you have something to say? What about middle schoolers? Do you see any of your friends obsessing over social media?
Yes. A lot of people it's like people live on Instagram like it's all they do. Like they do like the smallest stuff. Like they might go out to eat and then they post like, I'm about to go out to eat. Like I feel like you don't have to post everything that you do. And like me, I got better, like I'm better now, but before I used to have like a fear of like missing out on stuff because like it used to be something new every single day. So like it was really hard for me to like take a break from social media.
But like Rakia said, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
I had to do it this morning. I woke up and I was like, okay, I have a Zoom at 11. I have a Zoom at 12. I can't touch my phone. Music, that's all I let myself do this morning. I was like, you can listen to music and you can get ready and then you got to do everything else.
Anya, what about you?
Right now, at least with college applications due and very soon and things, I feel like I've actually taken a break from like social media. I'll look at maybe before like once a day. But because I realized that like when I'm looking at it, there's a lot of things about college and different things like that add to the stress. Especially like when I'm trying to meet these deadlines too. So I'm seeing them like twice in my life. So I feel like that's just like, it gets overwhelming at that point. So I just kind of stop that, maybe I'll look at it for a little bit when I'm not doing anything. But other than that, I've never actually really loved social media that much. I'll use it once in a while to share the information I need or see some information I need once in a while. But I've never really had like the biggest issue with it. So, but I have like realized that I don't, definitely seeing them right now with the college and everything, it just gets overwhelming. So I've kind of just stopped.
So you've done it. That makes perfectly good sense. You got other things, more important things that you got to get done. So you can go to Harvard or MIT, one of those places you're choosing to go.
So for our final question that we have before we go into like the Q&A, for the college students, what have you learned that you wish you knew when you were in middle or high school?
I think the main thing that I've learned is it's okay to prioritize yourself, because all through high school, all through middle school, all through my entire life back home, I really would put the needs of others above my own. And at the time I was thinking, well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what a good person does, is you prioritize other people and you take care of others. But I would realize that, like what Jordan was saying earlier, I would get really burnt out because I would be so focused on others that I wouldn't take the time of day for myself. So now I have more me time. I have more time that I just sit in my bed and I'm not talking to other people. I'm not giving my energy to other people, but I'm taking that time to basically plug myself in. So it's okay to prioritize yourself. That doesn't make you selfish. That doesn't make you a bad person. Just makes you conscious of your own needs.
Just like what Emma said, I wish that I would have known that taking care of myself doesn't make me selfish. It better enables me to be able to take care of the people that I feel that I need to take care of. Because how can I take care of somebody else if I'm not even taking care of myself? It's really important that you learn to love yourself, so that way you have enough love to give to the people you want to give. Or else, exactly like we said earlier, we're going to feel burnt out. And that's what you want to try to avoid, is making sure that you're doing. I wish I would have known what self-care was when I was in middle school. And I wish I would have known just little things that I can do that counted as self-care that I didn't realize it. So I could have been taking better care of myself over the years.
Yeah, same thing. I wish I knew what self-care was when I was in middle school and high school, or at least I wish that I knew that how to recognize self-care, because some of the things that we shared, we kind of do on a daily basis, but we don't really see that as self-care. I've seen some folks in the chat say that they listen to music or they like doing their makeup. Being able to recognize that taking 5 minutes or a few minutes out of your day just to be present with yourself and do those things, and recognizing it as self-care, makes a huge difference. Another thing that I wish that I knew when I was in middle school and high school was this word grace. Like, I wish I knew that it was okay to give myself grace. I like to be involved in a lot of activities. That's, how I like to stay involved and stay active and stay busy. And whenever I feel the need to rest or, to take a break and not do something, I was starting to feel guilty for those things. And so, really learning that it's okay to take a break. It's okay to step away. It's okay to give yourself that grace. Like, it's okay. And if you mess up, it's okay. I wish that I knew that, because I don't think I would have been as hard on myself in middle school and high school as I was. And so, yes, ladies, please be kind to yourself. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to step away. It's okay to retreat for a few minutes. It's okay to self-care.
One thing I learned is that to kind of not block out, but you don't have to get caught up in the drama. Drama, I know it is so frequent and it's easy to be kind of like drawn into it, and you want to know the latest thing going on, but those negative thoughts can clog your brain. And so I like to have reminders of focusing on the good and the positive. I think someone mentioned that earlier, is like, don't focus on the negative. So my wallpaper on my laptop and my phone says focus on the good, and it has pictures of all my family and friends, and those moments just make me happy and I like to look back on them. And then the second thing that I learned is you are completely justified in asking for help. It is okay to reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm struggling. I don't know how to do self-care, or just to talk about things. I promise you, there are so many people who are willing to hear you out and help you figure out what works for you. You just have to take that step in asking for help.
I want to share a quote that I fell in love with when I started positive affirmations in like my journey to self-care. It is self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. So I think it's so important to take care of yourself. Take care of yourself emotionally. And if it gets to be too much, please, please talk to someone that can help you get out of that, because it's so important to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally, physically and spiritually. It's so important. And I think that we can't get into this mindset that self-care is selfish. It isn't selfish. It is okay to take care of yourself before taking care of someone else. It is okay. You're not narcissistic. You're not selfish. It is okay to take care of yourself. So we're going to go to some questions. I see some in the Q&A chat. It says, Chris Carshil, I'm not good with names, so don't get mad at me for reading this wrong. Carshil asks, what can help you wake up and help you instead of sitting down and being like, I can't do this?
I don't mind. That's such a good question. I don't mind answering this question. That's something that I am learning myself right now, especially during quarantine, when your bed is like looking right at you every day. I'm still at home. I'm still working from home. And so, yeah, this is something that I'm working through. And one of the things that has helped me is just to start small. And again, just giving myself the grace, at first I was like, when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, do that. I had this list. And when I woke up the next day, I was beginning to feel overwhelmed with all of the things that I said that I had to do. And it was just so much easier, again, just to lay there and, this voice would creep in my head. They say, who do you think you are that you can do all of this? And I think Miss Adams said this earlier, don't ever complete a negative thought about yourself. Whenever that voice begins to creep up in your head, cancel it out immediately with a positive affirmation. And so there's two answers to this question. The first is cancel out that voice in your head that says that you can't do it, because it's not true. You can do anything that you set your mind to. And at the end of the day, if the thought of accomplishing and doing something came in your mind in the first place, therein lies the truth that you have the ability to accomplish it and achieve that task. So the first thing is to cancel out that voice. And then the second thing is, when it comes to, getting up physically to do it, just start small. Don't overwhelm yourself with the idea of all of the things that you have to get done. It could be, hey, tomorrow I'm going to do this one thing. And then you'll find that after you celebrate the victory of completing that one task, that you're energized to do the other tasks that you have to complete. So cancel out that voice, and then just take one. The journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with one step. Take it one step at a time.
Awesome.
So we have another question. A lot of people are asking, how can they join Young Life? So
I don't know what school everyone goes to, but Menchville and Warwick, on their Instagrams, I put it in the chat, but everything that they do is on their Instagrams right now. I put mine in the chat too, so you can reach out to me. I'll tell you more about Young Life. It's really fun, but a lot of schools do have it. We are doing like peninsula-wide meetings right now. I do know my leaders are from CNU, and so are the Warwick ones. And they had just told us that there could be a limit on how many people are going right now because of COVID. So I'm not sure completely what's going on right now, but if you reach out to me, I will definitely let you know.
So another question we have is, what can help you feel comfortable talking to people about your feelings?
I struggled a lot with that. That kind of goes back into what I was saying earlier about I had a hard time kind of prioritizing myself. But I've noticed that the hardest thing to do, the hardest part of talking about your feelings is acknowledging that they're there to someone other than yourself. So being able to take that step, it doesn't have to be an entire conversation in one sitting, but saying to someone, I'm not doing too well and I want to talk about it. I'm not ready to yet, but I want to let you know, so that you have someone that you can reach out to. Because being vulnerable and being emotional can sometimes be really challenging. I know that it is for me, because I don't like to seem weak in front of people, but having those emotions does not make you weak. And that's what I've learned. So reaching out and saying, I need to talk to you. I can't right now. I don't feel comfortable doing so, but can I trust that I have you as a shoulder to not cry on, but lean on for support? Finding your person that you can talk to is the first step. And as you kind of get that outlet out in the open, it's easy to go back and continue to talk to that person.
Going off of that, I think it's also important to note that you might not find your person automatically. It takes a special person to be able to listen and hear you out and provide that support that you are expecting. So if someone does not respond the way you expected or intended them to, don't get down about that. Just think, okay, I opened up, I was vulnerable. That is a good thing to do. That is an improvement I made. And even if they didn't respond, you can find someone else. I promise, I have gone through so many people who I was like, why did I say that? But that's a strength. And I think it's important to acknowledge that you took that first step. And I will admit, I talked to a therapist for like over 5 years. It is not something to be ashamed about. Just be willing to talk to someone and know that it doesn't always go as you intended.
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of what Emma and Jordan said, one really big thing is realizing that it doesn't make you weak or any less strong of a person to feel that you need to talk about something to somebody. And that's one thing that personally I really had to get past, because I thought that me being there for other people and me being strong for other people meant that I couldn't let anybody see me as weak. So I would bottle up all my emotions. But I learned later that that was actually that was not healthy for me at all. And part of the reason why had to become so focused on self-care was kind of undoing all of that. And maybe you don't have to go to a therapist or a counselor, but maybe you have that one aunt in your family who you're just really comfortable around. Or maybe there's that one teacher that at school that you're just really comfortable and you feel that you can talk to them about your issues. It's very important about finding somebody well, for me, it was important about finding somebody that I felt comfortable around and that I felt I could trust. And then once we became, you build that trust in them, then you can open up. And then kind of like Jordan said, and I think it was Jordan, not everybody might be the right person you need to confide in, but it's okay, because at least you made that step and you started realizing that talking to somebody kind of can help you, and you're allowing yourself to let it out versus bottling in that emotion and keeping it in.
I just want to add too, you're more likely to find that person if you start connecting yourself with positive groups too. So we talked about Young Life and like Bloom and Flourish. Those are communities of young women that are looking for the same things. They want to be better people. They want to be global leaders. They want to, take care of each other socially, emotionally, physically. You want to connect with people who are doing and thinking what you're doing. I wasted a lot of time being connected to the wrong people and knew that I probably shouldn't have been with that group, but because it was comfortable or you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, you stay there. But all you're doing is just, delaying the inevitable, because you know who you are, you know what you have going for you, you know what your goals are. So you may as well, connect yourself with people who are like-minded and who have the same values that you do. And then you're more likely, it's more than likely you're going to be able to find that person or those people who, you can pour into them and they can pour into you. You can help each other.
I think to piggyback off of what all of you guys said, I definitely dealt with that process of finding that person that you can just really confide in. I think it just takes time. In high school, I started off with so many friends, and now there's only, I think I can count on my hand how many people that I am close with, and I can count on one hand how many people that I will actually talk to about how I'm feeling. And I think it is so important to find that person, because it can get tough, and sometimes you just want somebody that is there just to listen and to lean on and to be that shoulder if you need to cry a little bit. So I think it's good. It takes time to find that person. And like Emma said, you have to be comfortable talking to somebody is acknowledging that those feelings do exist. So I think it's so important that you find that person for you and that you just take the time, because you're gonna go through it. You're gonna go through those people that aren't meant to be in your life. There's people that are gonna be in your life for a reason, then there's people gonna be in your life for a season. My mom told me that from a very young age, and I think it finally clicked when I got to college that some people are just going to be there for a season and some people are going to be there for a reason. So it's going to take time and it's going to be a process, but it will happen. You will find that person that you are comfortable with. Just wait on it. It will happen. And until then, just talk with yourself, talk with the counselor, talk with the teacher. I know Miss Bridget was somebody that I definitely talked to a lot when I was you guys' age and still now. So I think you'll find that person. It'll just take time.
And with that, it is 1 o'clock. It's a little bit past. We've gone a little bit over our time. I just want to take a minute to thank all of you for your time. This is so rich and so amazing. Some of you, if you have not thought about becoming a Bloom or Flourish coach, please think about it. Rakia has been a coach for a long time, as Maria helped found Bloom, actually. Jail has been a coach for a while. So this is the kind of thing that we do because we care, and we know how important it is to do this kind of work. So I just want to thank you guys for your time. And I think we'll do this again. I think we should do this again. Maybe pick another topic. What do you guys think? Thumbs up? All right, we'll choose another topic. So as we close, I just want to give those who are still in the chat, if you want to put down some suggestions for the next topic, please do that. And with that, we're going to say, have a great day. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.